Do we need a hint? Are we really gonna need a hint on this?
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Can you give us his
This
conference?
is a sports podcast, and we
Okay.
know nothing.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the lunch table. We got episode 4, and I'm excited about it, Brody. We're gonna get into some
Uh,
trivia today with Chandler, our guest.
the new guest, yeah, you spoiled it quick.
I
Spoiled it
did
quick, but
spoil it a little bit quick.
give the people something to be excited about. I think we had a guest here recently with my brother Carson, and we got another one coming today. I think they bring some life to the show. We don't want it to get too stale.
Yeah, I agree. We need someone to keep us on our toes. So, like I said, we'll do trivia today with Chandler. Like Brody said, I spoiled that. So sorry if you were wanting the anticipation.
If the suspense was what was keeping you here, then we're terribly sorry. But I don't think the drama's never really been the selling factor of the show.
No, not exactly. Before we kick it off, we are going to kick off with round the table again, just like last week, by the way, guys. I do want to go ahead and say, since I've said it at the end of every video, let's say at the beginning this time, like, comment, subscribe, guys.
One of the three is fine. You don't even have to do all three. I'm not that demanding.
Not that selfish. Like, just give us a little bit of something. I mean, you guys are
We
viewing
do.
it.
We read the comments. Joey, actually, I saw he dropped some hot takes. Joey Hanley, friend of the pod, member of the WNBA League, very exclusive league.
Yes, sir.
He had a couple hot takes of his own. And Joey, I'm gonna have to say, leave a comment on this one. I don't know if it's that much of a hot take to say the Nuggets are going to be a dynasty. I think that that's kind of a given. Like they could do it pretty easy. I don't know if that's as hot as a take as you thought it was coming in, but y'all leave comments, leave us. I mean, ideas, takes, anything. Like we'll start doing a little. We can even do Q&A.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll even start like a viewer question starting next week or sometime soon, where we'll ask you guys to answer our question in the comments. Maybe that'll get you guys a little more engaged. But just wanted to throw that in there before we kick it off, because I think a lot of people watch to like towards the very end, and then they cut it off like right before I say that every time. And so you know how it goes.
We're not making y'all do anything, but throw the kids a bone.
That's it.
That's it. Well, Skyler, new week, new round of the table. What you got for me this week? What's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, currently, at the state I'm in right now, is the weather outside is absolutely torrential. I think that's the right torrential.
It's a torrential downpour.
Yeah,
you could say.
Yeah, we'll put it that way. It's a torrential downpour.
Like hurricane-like conditions?
Well, when I was talking earlier, I called it Zeus's wrath, and so
he did say that pre-pod.
Yeah. Before we started recording, I called it Zeus's wrath. So if that tells you anything, that's how bad it is here.
So everybody, we could have. Are we talking potential power outages?
It very well could happen. It flickered once or twice before we started, so we shall see.
All right. We'll power through. The lunch table has never been one to fear the elements.
Oh, absolutely not. We brave them. All right. Yeah. So, but outside of that, I got a couple things going on. So I have about a 35-minute commute to work in the mornings, right? So
just enough to really kind of sting you a little bit.
That's it. And, honestly, I don't really have a problem driving 35 minutes until the morning where you get behind 90-year-old Uncle Remus driving on the back roads about 35 and a 50, about 35 and a 55. And that is where you start to see some of my childhood road rage come back out. Is when I get behind Uncle Remus going 35.
I will say the traffic now that school is back is infinitely worse in the mornings.
It's awful. It's gone.
Absolutely terrible. But it's funny you mentioned old Uncle Remus, because that kind of ties into what I was going to bring up. So I don't know. Do you ever go to the gym? Like, do you have a gym membership somewhere?
So we're about to, I think, start a gym membership, because we had one in college, and we do weightless workouts now, and we're kind of tired of it. So I think we'll have a gym membership soon.
So You're gonna come to see this soon enough at the gym. So for all my fellow gym goers out there, you know exactly what I'm about to bring up. Old guys in gym locker rooms are entirely too fucking comfortable. Let's just bring that up right now. And me and Skylar, I mean, we've been in locker rooms a lot. You
Yeah.
see some things, and eventually, it's just whatever. You're gonna change, and let's go about your business. But at no point in my locker room careers was I like almost making it my mission to see how close I could put my bare old man junk to people's exposed faces. I the other day was tying my shoes pre-workout,
Oh no.
and I look up, and within, I would say, being generous here, let's call it 3.5, 4 feet, with
Oh.
just direct eyes to eye contact with old man meat.
Ooh.
And it is I think these old guys, man, they get up there in age and they stop caring, and they will just throw that thing around wherever, and it's a problem in this locker room. It is a pandemic, in fact. And I don't know if there's anything you could do about it. What are you going to say to this 85-year-old that just got done with his jazzercise class? Hey, sir, get your balls out of my face. No, you
Yeah.
can't say that.
No, of course not. That's yeah. That we definitely don't, or I, not Gabby, because she would have been in a different locker room,
Yeah,
obviously.
that'd be a very progressive
But
Jim.
I I dealt with that a little bit in college, so yeah, I'm right there with you. So a couple things in the sports world I wanted to bring up. First thing, dude, did you watch Max Fried's
Ah,
return?
masterclass, absolute masterclass.
I
So glad
mean,
to have him back.
dude,
Definitely a bright spot for how we've been playing lately.
yeah,
God.
especially
We called it.
especially in the pitching department.
We called it first pod.
That's
Let it
it.
be known, and
That's
not
it.
proud to have called the Braves skid, but we kind of saw this coming.
We did. We knew it was too good to be
But
true.
Max Fried, man, so good to have him back. Uh, the when he finally gets to play a full healthy season, those numbers are going to be absurd. They really are.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
think too? We're still waiting on Kyle Wright.
I know. I know. We're unhealthy and we're still staying afloat. So I mean, never know. Never know.
Anything's possible. Anything's
That's it.
possible. Any other sport
Uh
news?
yeah, second thing is I guess it's fake news now because it was news earlier and then it came out that it wasn't, and that's Kareem Hunt to the Saints. I don't know if you
Uh,
saw that.
yeah,
And
I got the
now
notification, and then what? I guess they pulled the trigger on that one a little quick. What's the deal?
I guess so. Apparently he's visiting the Colts tomorrow, and so he has not committed to signing to the Saints. So I guess it was just a leak that they were like gonna
So
sign him.
yeah, it's one of those deals where like one person thinks they're in a relationship and the other person's single.
Yeah,
And then yeah, okay,
yeah, that's exactly what it is. And then
makes sense.
last thing I wanted to bring up sports wise was a little shift in college football happening news. I think it was this week. It might have been last week. And that's Washington and Oregon to the Big Ten. I think that's
The realignment is crazy, bro.
yeah.
It's
What do you think
I
about
don't
that? How do you think they're going to compete in the Big Ten?
uh, if they choose to recruit the same way, because that's something to consider is whether or not they'll adapt. I mean, they have to adapt their systems for the teams
Uh,
they're going to play regularly.
yeah,
Um, but they're definitely, as of right now, on paper, they'll be faster. I mean, definitely those teams have kind of built, around the high-powered offense, that West Coast style. Um, so you'll have either two things. Like they'll either be able to run and gun outside the hashes and spread these big old corn-fed boys out, or these Big Ten teams will get in there and they'll pound to
roll
dust.
over them. Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't know. Oregon, after the Georgia game last year, Oregon impressed me. I think Dan Lanning. So I don't think they'll be a cakewalk at all.
yeah,
And I just don't know enough about Washington to really
yeah.
give an educated opinion.
I know UW has been pretty decent in the Pac-12. So they kind of
Had a
have,
playoff appearance.
yeah, and I what I was gonna say is they kind of are like I guess that disappointing team where like they have really high quality wins every year, but they also have at least one or two really low
Awful,
quality losses.
yeah, awful
And so
losses.
it's just they're hard to judge because you think one week they could beat, I mean, maybe not beat, but they could compete with Georgia one week, and then the next week they don't look like
They
they
get
could compete with Vandy. And so,
exactly.
who knows?
So maybe they'll get more consistency playing this new schedule, having to kind of upkeep the Big Ten traditions of hard nosed football.
Yeah,
Um, I just think the alignment situation in general. I don't know how this is going to turn out when it's all said and done. I don't know if we're just going
I
to go to
know.
like four mega conferences with like divisions within conferences, free for all. Who knows, man?
Yeah, future's unclear in college football for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have anything sports wise to talk about this week?
Oh no, yeah, you actually. I was going to bring up Max Fried. It's funny you said that.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome to watch the other day. That was weird. He's a very resilient guy, and it seems to me like every time he comes back with a little something better than what he was
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, I would agree
I
with that.
really hope.
I
I
love
just hope
Max Free.
I hope the Braves can get the bats consistent again. That's the big thing with us, very boomer bust, and we were just so hot that we had to cool off. But whenever we get back to average and we have this Max Fried back at the rotation, that's pretty much a guaranteed win.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's exciting stuff.
I totally
But
agree.
yeah, that's about all I got on around the table. I mean, other than I'm tired of, I'm sure it's been even worse for you down in South Georgia, but it's been ridiculously hot here lately prior to the storm season.
Oh, it's been
Um,
crazy.
I'm over this shit, dude.
Yeah.
Golly, I'm over it. Need fall, need football, need fantasy. Summer, I don't ever want to say, I'm done with summer because then winter gets here and I'm like, damn, I should have appreciated
I
summer
miss
more.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I am ready for fall, man.
Oh,
God,
me
I need
too.
football and fantasy.
Yeah,
My
I was
main
just
thing.
gonna say, just the things that come with fall outside of the weather are big enough incentive to want fall to come back. So, yeah,
I think I say what you want. Fall has got to be a top two season, and it's not number two.
I would agree. I mean, I've always said fall is my favorite season for sure.
I think that comes from being football guys. I think that's where that comes from.
That's true. That's true. So we'll go ahead and move on into our next segment. And this is going to be a quicker segment, but me and Brody wanted to discuss this because we kind of consider ourselves not fantasy experts, but definitely experienced fantasy guys who have at least tried for a long
Played
time.
a lot of fantasy.
That's exactly right. And we're in a couple leagues together. And all of those leagues that we're in together are actually keeper or dynasty leagues. We have an offense defense league for football, and that's a true dynasty league. So we keep
That's
all
an
our
interesting
players.
experiment too. That's been a fun one.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we mean by that, we don't mean team defenses. We mean individual defensive players. And
Uh,
so it was a lot of fun last year. We're keeping it rolling this year. And we also have our basketball league, which we've referred to a lot in this show. That's a 12-man keeper league, which seems like a lot. But whenever you only have 10 teams in the league, I mean, those 12 spots can hold some really valuable guys towards the bottom. I know I had to drop a couple guys last year. I really didn't want to.
Yeah, especially with the NBA right now, there's so much talent across the board that everybody. I mean, there's really actually after this off season, after some big rebuilds in the fantasy in the NBA league, there's really not too many terrible rosters. There's a couple guys that are, they're still not in win now positions,
Right.
but I think, and that kind of this is what we're going to get into about with Dynasty. That's the fun of it, man, is the roster building. You
That's
know,
it.
I think whenever you play these redraft leagues, it really comes down to how well you draft. I mean, your capital isn't worth as much in those leagues, and that's what we really
Mhm.
enjoy about these dynasty leagues is you get to be a GM, like you get to have a true off season. Like you have to construct your roster. You got to think of age, and a lot of times, in redraft, you're thinking best available overall, like who's going to score the most points. And there's sometimes a dynasty, excuse me, where you're thinking who's going to do this every week. Who like not even necessarily the most points, but who can I throw in that flex and get a guaranteed 25 piece from? Stuff like
Right.
that.
And
And
then, yeah,
you definitely got me into dynasty leagues, and I'm very appreciative because it made me fall back in love with fantasy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I ever since I got a taste of Dynasty Keeper, I have done nothing else since. I haven't done a redraft league since I started doing
I
Dynasty.
haven't been in a redraft in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And it's for all those reasons you just named. And like you said, I mean, when you're drafting guys or even trading for picking up guys out of free agency for a dynasty or keeper league, it's totally different because not only are you thinking that consistency week to week, not just kind of who can get me a lot of points this year and then I'll be done with them. You're thinking who can get me points 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
five
that's
years from
exactly what I was
now.
about to bring up. There's nothing more satisfying than sitting on a guy for multiple seasons and he pays off.
Yeah.
Like when you recognize, because especially I know Scholar's the same way. Like we watch games that most people aren't going to watch out of our market. Like we'll watch those late night Kings games on the West Coast, and you'll see a rookie get some playing time, and you're like, the kid's going to be a stud, and you just got to sit on your taxi for 3 seasons, and then when he
Yeah.
pays off, man, that's the best feeling about. I mean, there's winning the championship, and then there's getting over on everybody else with a true sleeper pickup.
Yeah, I agree. And the pick I always go back to for our league, for my team specifically, is a guy he was a productive player when I drafted him, but he definitely wasn't where he is now. And that's why I spent such a high pick on Anthony Edwards in our initial fantasy draft.
Exactly.
And he
The
hasn't
exact situation.
I haven't even thought about trading him. I think I've sent how many times in the group chat have I said Anthony Edwards is untouchable?
Every time we mention trades, every time we
That's it.
mention trades, and I
That's it.
think so. Between picking up just like a guy early, trades also carry a lot more weight in
Oh
these
yeah.
leagues.
Yeah.
Like you have to really work, and like there's a lot of value plays because you do have your picks for 3 or 4 seasons out,
That's
and I
it.
mean there's 3 rounds of picks, and you have to think like there's limited roster spots. This guy's aging out, like because you're not just trading talent in keeper leagues, you're trading age. That's a big thing that a lot of people don't consider when you're
That's
playing
it.
these redraft leagues. I mean, you can trade DeAndre Hopkins for a rookie, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
You would never do that. You'd be a madman, you know?
Oh, yeah, no. Unless somebody's
Yeah,
attaching 4 first round picks to DeAndre
exactly.
Hopkins, depending on what rookie it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would be remiss not to mention a masterclass of a rebuild that I've got going in one of my fantasy football leagues. So my
A
running
rebuild's a
back,
satisfying thing.
oh yeah, my running back room is terrible on purpose. I'm happy with that. I've got Justin Fields and Bryce Young at quarterback, so I think I'm pretty set
Okay.
there for the
I like
future.
that. I like that room a lot.
Some great young receivers to build around, including our guy George Pickens. Um,
Nice.
and then here's
How many
the
teams in this league?
it's a 10 man.
Okay. Okay.
And the real kicker here is my 2025 draft.
It's gotta be,
Out of 10 picks, I've got 6 of the 1st round picks for that year. 6.
that is a joke. That is a
I'm,
joke.
I'm so excited for
If
next
you're
draft.
gonna win the 2026 championship in that league, you drafted like an idiot. That's
Yeah,
all there is to it.
I know. I
You can't,
surely.
but no way you go. You at least half of them got to hit, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least 3. At least 3. Got to. So I'm
No,
excited
I
for
love
that.
that. No, I love a good rebuild. I had to rebuild my roster in the NBA league from day one. It's not my proudest moment. I know it's
Oh, well. Hey, you drafted Trey Young, Brody, and that's your guy, and you
yeah.
get
Well,
to
that
keep him
I'll stand
forever.
by that. I'll stand by that for. I mean, I'll never take that back. I mean, that was a homer pick, but it makes me love the team.
I'll
You
tell
know,
you, I thought that was a dumb pick at the time just because of how high you selected him, but it turns out like I don't know. I guess I just wasn't thinking about how young he is because he feels like he's been in the league for a long
he
time.
feels like a vet because of the moments he's had already,
Yeah, but he's only what,
and
25, 26 maybe?
24, same age as us.
Wow.
Yeah, so
See, that's what
he's
I
got some time.
mean.
And then too, if you really think about it, like if you go look at him compared to everybody that was drafted, I mean, even like immediately after him, averages just as many fantasy points per week. I mean, his it's just his floor is lower because of the rebounds and lack of, I mean, no steals and stuff. But at the
Right.
same time, he's my guy, so fuck it.
That's it. That's it. So if you don't have anything else to add, I think that's
Nah,
pretty much going to wrap up our discussion. If we didn't convince you that dynasty and keeper leagues are better, you might want to get yourself
just try it.
checked
Just
out.
try. I promise you guys, try it this football season. get a dynasty league together
Yeah,
and give it two seasons because you got to let it marinate. That second season is when it really all kicks in, and I promise you, you will not go back to redraft. You won't.
that's it. I agree. I agree.
Well,
So
good talk. Good
yeah,
talk. I think it's about time to get into the top five this week, and I'm actually really excited about this because we're changing it up. We're changing it up. We thought the player discussions we didn't want those to get stale before they
yeah.
even got good. So we were
They'll be
texting.
back though. They'll be
Oh
back though.
yeah, we'll probably make that an every other week deal where we talk about our rankings for players, just kind of keep it fresh.
Yeah,
And this is what I'm excited about. So this decision was made the past 48 hours.
it's true.
So we didn't have much planned for the show yet. We're both notorious procrastinators, and we're discussing top five topics. Didn't want to talk about fantasy players. And so I said, what if we did top five sports movies? And
Mhm.
we jumped at that, and I think this will be a good discussion. I'm interested to see what you have and where you have it ranked.
You
And
too.
this was hard, man. This one was harder than ranking players.
Agreed. Agreed. I struggled big time with this one, man. Big
Well, there's no
time.
stats. I
Yeah.
mean, we could look at the box office and stuff, but there's no like. I mean, with players, it's easy. How old is he and what points does he put up?
Yeah.
Well, the movie, it's like, all right, like I got to think about the quality of the movie, like some cultural impact.
And then
So
you also got to have just your own opinion in there too. I mean, because that's huge for your favorite sports movies or top sports movies of all time for you, you know?
yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to get us started. We're going to do the same format as last week, where we each do our top four.
Let's do
And
it.
we'll get into the top one, our first overall pick together. At number five, this is the only comedy I have in the top five. I have this one here just because I think it's kind of it kind of made the sport a little more iconic prior to a goat appearing in it. But I have Happy
Happy
Gilmore.
Gilmore. I knew
Happy
it.
Gilmore,
Yeah.
number five. Happy Gilmore's one of those movies. We didn't care about golf growing up, but you would still watch Happy Gilmore over and over again. Very quotable movie. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast. I mean,
That's it.
Adam Sandler at his best. We're both big Adam Sandler guys.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a great movie. I didn't even care about golf, and then when I got into golf, when I got a little older, I went back and watched it. And it's so good. Like it's so
Oh,
well
yeah.
written. The jokes are great. Um, at number four, most people probably would have this higher. And I would, but at times it definitely gets a little cheesy and like cliche. I remember the Titans at number four.
Okay.
Definitely like a feel good, like team building. I mean, we've had to watch this movie a million times in our life. Denzel Carter, Denzel Carter, Denzel Washington.
Washington.
So, I was saying Coach Carter for a second, but
Yeah.
Denzel Washington at his best as always, phenomenal actor, great story, definitely tugs the heartstrings a little bit. Strong side, weak side.
That's
That's that scene alone, electric.
that's it.
At number three, I've got my only baseball movie actually in the top five, and this might shock a few people, but to me, if you don't have this, you're kind of crazy. I have The Sandlot at number three.
I knew that. Yeah,
Uh,
I knew it.
yeah, I mean, dude, if you were a baseball kid growing up, your dream was to live by a little field or put together this front yard baseball team and just play games, and that's what we did, especially before we moved over here. Man, we had just the cul-de-sac going baseball games all the time, and it was the Sandlot. Everybody wanted to
Yeah.
be the Jet. I mean, it was electric. So the Sandlot, great movie. I still watch that like around July 4th. I feel like it's a good movie to watch around then, kind of make you feel a little patriotic, very Americana.
Oh yeah.
Banger movie. Banger
Oh
movie.
yeah.
And then at number two, I've got the movie that I've definitely watched the most on this list. I used to watch this every Thursday night for football games our senior year. I wouldn't necessarily watch the whole movie through and through, but I turned it on. Friday Night Lights, the movie.
Okay.
I, if you grew up in what we grew up in and you played, in the environments that we grew up in, this shit is not a joke. Like, the seriousness of it to a degree, but like, just how people will talk to you about your high school football career when you're literally a 17-year-old kid. That movie, I mean, I don't know, it always got me feeling some type of way, especially in the huddle in the championship game. I don't know how much time's left on the clock, but the quarterback, Mr. Tokyo Drift, he's like, I need 7 seconds for the rest of your life,
That's it.
And that quote right there, I think I carried that with me. Like that was like my football mantra. Was just like this play right here is all you got. Rest of your life, die after this.
Yep.
So that's my top four. And dude, that was it was so hard. I had like multiple comedies I wanted to slide in there, but I'll get into those the honorable mentions. So I'm excited to hear what you have.
Yeah, so I will go ahead and say that my own personal opinion weighs super heavily onto my list. So
Oh, absolutely. There's not. I didn't like rank these based off of like how good of a film it is.
right, we're not film critics. We have no idea
No,
how to even
just
become, pretend to
I
be
mean,
film critics.
no.
But so I'm gonna go ahead and just preface it with Sandlot did not make my list. I felt like a dirty sinner for not having it. It is
I
an
can
honorable
understand.
mention.
I can as long as it made honorable mention, that's fine with me.
Oh,
I can
it
live with
was
that.
yeah, I couldn't if it wasn't an honorable mention, then you could be angry with me because that would
Right.
be understandable. All right, let's kick it off. My number five, and I guess a lot of people don't really consider these sports movies, even though they are about a sport or an icon in a sport, and that's Rocky. I've got
Right.
Rocky
That's a
at number
that's a
five.
fucking sports movie. Absolutely. Yeah. Great pick.
Yeah, exactly. And I know some people, like I said, don't consider that a sports movie, but I mean, it's Rocky. I mean, we said it, I think it was episode one. He's iconic. Like
Yeah.
it's Rocky, and so I don't think I
It
really need to
this
say
the
much.
city has a statue made of a guy that's not even real. That's all that needs to
Re-
be said. Yeah. Like
That's it.
they could have Joe Frazier up there, a real guy, but
Yep.
Philly, Philly's going to be Philly, so they can't acknowledge Joe Frazier. So they have Rocky up there. But that's a great pick. That's a great pick.
Yeah. So Rocky's at number five. Number four, I think this one might be the one that surprises people the most. And I've got Moneyball at number four, Brad Pitt.
In- interesting.
And
Interesting. That didn't even make my honorable mentions.
I'll tell you why Moneyball is special to me. So as a kid, when I played MLB The Show, all I really played was like Play Now for a long time. I didn't really get much in. I mean, I
Yeah, I
did
was.
some of the franchise stuff a little bit, but I wasn't really like into it. After I watched Moneyball for the first time, I was gonna become a baseball GM.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
that.
okay.
That's
I can
so it
respect that.
it sparked my interest in that. And also, I just, Brad Pitt's a great actor and Jonah
Yeah.
Hill does an awesome job in that movie. And it's just a really cool story. I think it's a really cool story to watch. So I've got Moneyball at number four. Number three is one that you accidentally mentioned earlier, and that would be Coach Carter. Coach
Yeah.
Carter it's got to be my favorite basketball movie of all time.
Absolutely. It made the honorable mentions for me. I almost put it in the top five just because I didn't have a single basketball movie, but at the same time, like I'm just not as attached to basketball.
Yeah, no, it's understandable. And then my number two is another baseball movie, but it's one that I don't think people really think of when they think like great baseball movies throughout history. Probably mostly because more or less the movie isn't really about baseball, more about the impact that someone had on baseball and on the United States sports scene in general. And that's 42, the
Great
Jackie
movie. Actually
Robinson
watched that
movie.
very recently. Yeah.
Yeah. I love 42, man. I mean, Chadwick Boseman, he's awesome or was awesome, RIP, sadly. But yeah, he was awesome in that movie. The story, I mean, it writes itself. You don't have to add any flair to it because it's already got all the elements you're looking for in a
Yeah,
true
absolutely. It
a
does a
true
very good job of giving you what it was. It didn't.
yeah,
There's no. And if anything, it was probably soft on the edges compared. I mean,
right.
compared to what it could have been. But
That's
that's a
right.
great pick. I like that.
Yeah, such a compelling story. So do you want to go ahead and reveal our honorable
Yeah,
mentions?
I'll list a couple of mine. I'll start off with one. These are no specific order. These are just movies I love, and most of these are the ones that I've watched on repeat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start off with one that this is for the true fans. Division 3 football's finest, man.
Amen on
Uh,
that one.
and then let's just. I mean, this is a cult classic. Good laughs. The first half of this movie is absolutely iconic, and I think we quoted this through all of high school. It's absolutely a great movie. If you can find it, give it a shot. I've got The Water Boy in there. Another one
Oh
of those
yeah,
Sandler movies that really was him at his best. Uh, just a very quotable movie as well. I mean, if you played football, you quoted Waterboy
yeah.
at football all the
My
time.
my mama said.
I'm a hit, yeah. Uh, and the two, I've got two remakes of classics. So any old heads, I've got the remakes in here. I honestly prefer the remakes. Say what you
Sure.
will. The Bad News Bears and The Longest Yard.
Oh, those are two
Yeah,
good ones.
I think Billy Bob Thornton in The Bad News Bears is one of the funniest roles of all time. That movie is a classic. And then
Yeah,
Field of Dreams, I have that in there as well. If you don't, I mean, the Field of Dreams is, if you don't get a little emotional at that one, you don't have a heart, I don't think.
all-time
Um,
classic.
yeah, and that is my honorable mentions. It's my top four.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I knocked my honorable mentions down to four. I had like 10, but
Yeah,
I wanted,
same. I was like, we got to condense this a little bit.
yeah, I wanted to knock it down. And again, personal opinion weighs the most heavily on me for these, and I had actually a couple of those comedy movies listed that you said too, but I took them off because they didn't really fit with like the rest of the movies that I have, if that makes sense.
That's understandable. See, to me, I
Tone
think
wise,
sports movies create such a good platform for comedy because if you've played sports, you definitely know like
you
that
get it.
comedy is like what gets you through the grind. And
Yeah.
so I definitely appreciate those movies a lot. But I'm interested to hear, especially you, because I know you're going to have some interesting takes here about some more serious movies. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what you got.
So first one off the list was The Sandlot. And like you said, no particular order here, but the first one I thought of was The Sandlot. All-time classic, like you said. I mean, nothing really needs to be said about it. We all watched The
No,
Sandlot as a kid.
the scene under the fireworks, man.
Oh,
I
it's
mean, classic.
beautiful, beautiful cinema. The next one I had that I was kind of surprised that you didn't mention at all was Hoosiers. Hoosiers is, I know it was
I've got to admit, I've never actually watched Hoosiers. Got to admit it.
Brody.
All right,
You
look, here's
gotta
what I do.
watch it.
I'll watch it and I'll give you a little review next week. So,
Got to. Got to.
all
So
right.
Hoosiers is a I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but
I mean,
man,
I know the general idea of the movie, obviously, but I've never actually watched it.
yeah. So you gotta sit
So,
down and watch Hoosiers. It's an all-time
all right.
classic as well. I did have Remember the Titans on there because
That's
all the
just a
reasons
great
you
movie,
list.
man.
Yeah.
That's the when they go to the camp at the university,
Yep.
that whole sequence that's just quintessential like Southern football in the
Yeah.
summer, and it definitely resonates.
Yeah. And also young Denzel Carter, was it? Watch young Denzel Washington. You
Oh
you
man,
can't beat
man,
that.
yeah, wear that one for a while. I feel like.
It happens. It happens. And then my last one is a movie that I think is kind of flown under the radar for a really long time. I watched it a good bit as a kid, but I never really hear anyone else talk about it. And that's the movie 61. Have you ever seen the movie 61?
I can't say I've ever heard of it.
So it's the Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle story, right? And it's kind of it's
Ah,
yeah, so it's them chasing
and,
that 60 home runs. I think it was Maris that actually set the record, right, at
and
60
then
home.
Mickey was chasing him down. Correct.
Yep. And
I bet that's
so it
actually probably a pretty good movie.
oh, it's great. Yeah, I mean
Uh,
it's like I said, it's about them two when they were playing together, and it's a really cool story. I remember loving it as a kid. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I want to go back and
I've never even
rewatch it.
heard of it. That's crazy.
But yeah, it's a good movie. It's a great baseball movie.
And then I will say to round off our honorable mentions, just for our fans up north, which I'm sure we have none of. I don't. I mean, if y'all are from up north, you listen. Uh, I did actually put the Mighty Ducks. I wrote that down on. Let that be known. It was
That's a great
acknowledged.
one.
It was acknowledged. It's just like hockey is definitely on the back burners for us down here in Georgia.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I honestly love hockey. I watch the playoffs every year, and I really hope we get another team. But I did mention the Mighty Ducks
Yeah.
in
And
passing.
then to go with another sport we didn't mention, that King Richard movie. I don't know if you saw that about Serena and Venus Williams'
I need
dad.
to watch that. I need to watch that. I'm
That
sure
was
that's a good
great.
movie.
Will
Yeah.
Smith did awesome in that movie. I didn't even really think about that movie when I was making this list. And then one more newer one that I did leave, well, pretty brand new one that I did leave off the list was Air, because it's not really a
Uh,
sports movie per
yeah.
se.
Hot take here. I wasn't really the biggest fan of Air.
Dang, Brody.
I thought I don't know, man. I just for some reason because the stories that's one of the greatest stories in sports is how that all came together.
Yeah.
I just something about the movie just left something to be desired for me. I just wasn't a fan of it. Like you said, we're not film critics, so I can't put into words what it was. But
No,
yeah, I just wasn't after the movie. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever.
I get it. I get it. I'm a big Affleck Damon guy, so I mean,
Understandable.
so
Yeah, yeah,
it is Matt Damon, right? Affleck
yeah.
and Affleck
Ben
Matt
Affleck
Damon.
and that, yeah,
Yeah.
little Good Will Hunting
So
action.
yeah, exactly. So that could be my bias. And then my fiance would agree with you that I'm overreacting a bit by even considering that movie. She said it should be nowhere close to this list whenever I showed her. So
Wow, Gabby with some strong words for the list.
which she liked it. She was just like, it's not anywhere near the level of these other movies you've got. So
Yeah, it's not. It's not. All right, so I think it's time we got into our number one picks. Mine has been mentioned in passing already, but I kind of broke the rules a little bit here. So I went with the combo because I think these two movies need to be watched together. But I actually have Rocky 1 and 2 in the number one slot.
all
I think
right.
the context of the first movie sets up his victory in the second movie for the ultimate like inspirational story. I mean, just the everyday guy becomes the champ. That's what a lot of people don't realize is Rocky loses in the first one.
Yep.
He does not win that fight. He just doesn't like get knocked out. And he actually wins in the second one. So I think the second one has to watch the first. So yeah, Rocky 1 and 2. If I ever like need to just like if I ever like kind of need some inspiration, movie bands, that's what I go with. What you got at number one?
I love it. I love it. I almost moved Rocky higher.
So good.
Yeah, I probably should have moved it higher, but
I could
it's
watch it right
okay.
now.
He's on the top five for sure.
Yeah.
All the Rocky movies are great. So my number one is probably a pretty common answer for our generation, but I've read the book. I love the story. It's like the ultimate come from nothing, but your circumstances change and you get an opportunity to do something with your life story, and that's The Blind Side.
Yeah. I
I
just I was never a fan of this movie.
Oh,
This
I
is two
can't
now.
believe that.
This
I
is two. I'll say that
love The
now.
Blind
Yeah.
Side.
I
I
don't know.
love The Blind Side.
I don't know what it was with one side. I think it was maybe because it was like shoved into my face so much
I get that. It was
because it was
everywhere at the
everywhere, dude. It was
time.
like, oh yeah, it was unreal. So that could be it. But I'm not. I can respect it as a pick, like because I
Yeah.
do understand like it is a good movie.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
awesome. And Sandra Bullock, Tim McGraw, whoever plays Michael Orr and the coach, that all do such a
yeah,
fantastic job acting in that movie.
yeah, absolutely agree. And yeah, so that was a fun top five, dude. I think the every other week getting into something other than some players is going to be a good time. We'll have to definitely branch out the topics. We even might get away from sports. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah,
Who knows?
definitely. I mean, we almost got away from sports this week. We
We
just ended
tried.
up, yeah, we were knew we wanted to do something entertainment, and then Brody brought up sports movies, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's what we got to
Yeah,
go with. We got to
exactly.
go with
Anything
that.
that I don't have to like do research on is definitely going to be my pick.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
But
So that's going to close out our top five on sports movies. I thought that was a fun time going through those. I loved your top five. Obviously, loved my top five. So
we could binge any of those right now, and I'd be happy.
yeah, I think it went well. So we'll move on into our next topic here. We're going to do some trivia. I've already revealed our special guest, kind of spoiled that at the beginning, but I'm excited to have him on.
Very excited. Let's get him out here.
Yep, let's go ahead and move on into trivia.
Well, we hope y'all enjoyed that top five. That was definitely a fun one to me. To change it up a little bit, different topic than usual.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we've got something new and exciting for y'all today. So we're gonna get into trivia as our next segment, but a little twist this time. So we've actually got our second guest coming on the show, an old friend of the pod, Mr. Chandler Scott. Is going to DJ this trivia session and allow me and Skylar to have a little more fluid competition and conversation instead of that unmitigated disaster that was trivia last week.
Amen to that. Yeah, we were a little messy, a little slow through our 6 teams that didn't win the World Series and all that. So, hopefully this one will go a lot smoother with a moderator, somebody in the middle. Oh, speak of the devil. There he
Wow,
is.
a quick join, ladies and gentlemen. When he's here, he's here, and he's here.
There he
Round of
is.
applause.
I'm in.
Trivia MC for the evening, Mr. Chandler Scott. Chandler, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good. I'm doing great, bro. How are y'all?
Dude, we're chilling. Skylar's about to die in a Noah's Ark type situation.
There is a very severe downpour outside the house right now, so power could cut out at any moment.
Which let it be known that this is our second attempt at this. We'll just go ahead and let everybody know. Skylar's power has gone out once already, but we've gotten farther this time than last time. So round of applause.
I gotta
already.
Yeah.
Gotta shout out the jersey here.
Yeah, what's the threads there, Chandler?
Is that Brooking?
98 Keith Brooking.
Keith Brooking. Ooh, that's nasty.
That's a touch of class. That's a touch of class. Something you're only gonna get from a guy like Chandler.
Damn right.
Legend.
So Chandler, we were telling the people you're gonna help this trivia today be a little more fluid, maybe kind of keep me and Skylar both involved, and you can keep us from getting stuck like we last week's was a debacle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'll have the answers this time.
So this week, do you have any specific topics of trivia, or are we just kind of spreading it out across all sports, or what do you got for us?
So I got one from each sport. So we got NFL, MLB, NBA,
okay.
And then I got a college football one. Also wrote down a UGA football one.
All right.
Okay. Wow. He came prepared.
So,
always.
We got 5 potential questions here. One of them's a gimme, I'm going to be honest. Just to give you all a confidence boost.
Well, I like that. We'll definitely need that. We need the opening handshake. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, man. I'm excited. Lead us off. Question number 1.
Yeah, let's start with the NFL. So, it's kind of like last week's question with the World Series. So, there's 12 teams who have never won a Super Bowl, which kind of shocked me. That's like half the league.
12? Golly. Yeah. I know. I mean, I can tell you that the Falcons and the Vikings have never won.
Yeah. Vikings. Yeah.
So
let's see.
But y'all don't have to list all those 12. Which 4 have never been? Hadn't even had the chance in the big game.
Never been.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with. Oh no, they've been. Oh man.
I've got a hint.
Okay. Are the Jets one of them? No, they went to early Super Bowls. Listen.
Are the Chargers?
Name it.
Yeah, what about the Chargers? Am I tripping there?
Chargers went in, I think, 94? It was early 90s. They went.
Dang.
Wow. Okay, if I don't even get one, I'm going to be very disappointed in myself.
I know. What about the Lions?
Lions is one.
Lions. Good pick.
Poverty franchise.
Hey, could be a different year for the Lions. Yeah.
They're on the come up.
All right, Sean, give me a hint here. I'm stuck. Give me a hint. Nothing too obvious. No cakewalks.
No. So 2 of these are very new franchises.
Texans.
Texans is one. Yep.
Titans.
Titans have went.
Well, Titans have
went. They came out 1 yard short.
That's right.
1 yard short. That was early in the franchise too. That was crazy.
Let's see. Back when they were the other team, the Commanders went, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They've won a few actually. Back in the 80s.
That's right.
I was about to say they were kind of a powerhouse for a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know how I don't remember that.
Joe Theismann, all of them.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Let's
Man,
see.
this is.
Man, I'm struggling. Let's
I'm
see.
definitely showing my lack of NFL history.
So you got one more that's new, pretty new franchise. The other, very much a poverty franchise.
Oh man, why am I
Like
blanking right
the
now?
definition of poverty franchise.
All right, so
Skyler, the storm,
we
the
called it.
storm, man,
We
the
called
storm.
it.
Take four. In Skylar's own words, Zeus's wrath is apparently about to be gone. So we're back, and I gotta say, boys, during our little hiatus there, I kind of kicked myself because I thought of a team for our question.
Yeah,
And
who is it?
Chandler, I'm gonna have to say the Browns. I'm gonna answer the Browns to this third team.
Duh.
Yeah,
Yep.
Skylar, how dumb do you feel right
Browns.
now?
Wow.
This segment's going on for like 5 minutes. We didn't say the Browns. That's embarrassing.
Definition of poverty franchise.
Yeah, they're
I
jokes.
said the Jets and didn't say the Browns. What is wrong
Yeah.
with me? What is wrong with me?
Hey.
And then for this
Still
fourth
missing one.
team, I
Yep.
still genuinely have no idea on this fourth team.
I know.
Like I'm trying to think of this whole league. I'm trying to think of who's won or who's been. You know.
You want the conference?
Have the Jaguars been?
Oh, you got it.
Yeah,
Let's
go.
I was just about to say new team, Jags,
Yeah.
no shot. All right.
Jags. They've been close recently, but
It's true.
they may be going soon.
Do y'all think? Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Could you see a Jags Super Bowl appearance in the next 7 years?
I
Yeah,
could see it. Yeah,
I could.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I could see it.
I don't know if they'll win.
No, I mean, after what the Falcons did, I don't think anybody has a guaranteed shot at anything.
No,
Yeah. So I'm hoping that wasn't the layup gimme question because I think that we
that was not.
stuffed that one at the rim. So
Yeah,
all right,
Yeah,
well,
that
let's throw
was-
question number 2.
let's hear it.
Okay, so this I'm gonna be disappointed if you don't get this one. This is the
All
layup.
right, this is
Okay.
This is going to be even worse here.
All right, yeah. So this is college football.
Okay.
Who is the only player in history to win the Heisman Trophy twice?
It was oh man, I feel like I'm gonna I'm gonna oh man. Who was it? Oh, I have so many names in mind that
I got. Is it running back?
It's a running back.
It's either Bo Jackson or Barry Sanders.
It is neither.
Really?
It's
Oh
neither.
God, the confidence I had.
for some reason I want to say Eddie George, but I don't think that's
Oh,
right.
you're like y'all are like in that era, maybe slightly before
Okay,
the 70s,
The
70s. Damn, 70s.
back years.
Why am I not,
Fuck.
why am I not getting this? Okay. Do we need a hint? Are we really gonna need a hint on this?
This is embarrassing.
Can you give us his conference?
This is a sports podcast, so
Okay.
we know nothing.
Conference, Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Ooh, okay.
It's made it even harder.
He's running back from the Big Ten. Why? Why
In
are
the
we struggling?
70s,
In the 70s.
and he won 2 Heismans.
Yeah. 74 and 75. Back to back.
Goodness.
What was going on in 74 and 75? Is this a Nebraska situation? Nebraska?
Not Nebraska.
Not Nebraska.
The color scheme is getting close.
Is it Wisconsin?
Wisconsin?
No.
Indiana. Oh. Who the hell is this color scheme?
Is it Ohio State? It's not Ohio State. It is Ohio State.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Dang.
Oh, Scott.
What is wrong with us, Brody?
Give me a hit, Chandler.
We're missing the layup.
I mean, there's not many other.
No.
I mean, he's running back Ohio State in 74,
Okay.
75.
I
Going
mean,
back to back.
How was his NFL career? Was it successful?
Honestly, his NFL career was not very good. And I'll be honest, the stats for the Heisman, like, I guess for the
74,
era was
75,
okay,
yeah.
but like,
Well, they also played like 10 games.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. His initials.
I
I can give you his initials.
Okay.
I mean, at that point, that's basically me conceding. But
Let's do it. Initials hit us.
AG.
Oh, oh, oh man, what's his name? It's literally on the tip of my tongue. It's like Griffith.
You should know the first name.
Is it Griffith? Is it something
You're
Griffith?
close on the last name.
Griffin.
Griffin.
I got nothing.
Oh my gosh, why can't I think of his
The first name. Scholar, you should know the first name.
It's not even on the tip of my tongue.
I know.
Someone in the Greenhall family.
Archie Griffin.
Technically. Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
Archie Griffin.
I knew Griffin. I knew that was a legendary running back that won
Archie
the Heisman,
Griffin.
but I couldn't think
74,
of Archie.
75.
Wow.
Yeah, that's swing and a miss.
Yeah.
But
we just butt fumbled the layup, Brody. So.
Yeah, I think I've definitely gone to show that my sports knowledge is more recent. If anything.
I guess maybe that wasn't as much of a layup as I thought. I don't know.
I think it was probably a layup and we just whiffed.
I think that was the issue. I think we're the issue here, not you, Chandler. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, you're doing phenomenal.
Okay.
And speaking of that, give me the third question.
Let's hear it.
Third question, MLB.
Okay.
Who holds the record for the most hits in a season? This is recent, somewhat.
This is
during our
recent.
Ichiro Suzuki.
I was about to say it's Ichiro. Ichiro. No?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Ichiro.
That was the layup because
yeah. Can y'all tell me how many hits he had?
That is a good question. Oh man, I'm trying to think of like what constitutes even just a good season of hits.
I'm gonna say 228.
I was gonna say like 256.
Brody, you're very close. Brody wins. Price is right. It was 262.
That's absurd.
262.
In 2004, yeah. Which Ichiro had that little slap thing going too, so he would just spray it.
Yeah, man was putting the ball in play.
Yeah, he was a legend at putting the ball in play, especially that year. Crazy.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we
One
got
of my favorite ball players growing up.
Ichiro's the man.
He was the man. So we got NBA coming next. Kind of excited for this question.
Let's do it.
So Wilt Chamberlain, he scored 70+ points in 6 different games. Who are 5 of the other 7 players to score 70+ in a game?
Oh, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Kobe Bryant.
No, Shaq. I was thinking Lakers and I said Shaq instead of Kobe. My apologies. And I'm trying to think.
Jordan didn't do it, did he?
Jordan capped out like 62, I think. 62 or 63.
Yeah, I think it was 63. Other players to score 70. So we got 3. You said there's 5.
Are they all? I feel like they're all relatively recent.
4 of the 5 are very recent. Yes.
So we said Kobe, D-Book, and D-Mitch.
Yeah. Missing one more recent.
One more recent.
70 in the last couple of years.
Define recent. Is it like last 15 years?
Yes, one of these for sure.
Allen Iverson never did that, did he?
No shot. It's gotta be. It's kind of sad we can't remember a 70+ point game.
No Tracy McGrady.
No McGrady.
No.
Eastern or Western Conference?
Western Conference.
Western Conference.
Western.
What's Dame's career high?
Damian Lillard. It's got to be Damian Lillard.
Yeah, it's Damian. Okay. I was about to say his career high is this number.
Wait,
whatever it was.
Didn't Dame drop 70 this year? Wasn't that this year?
It might have been this year. I didn't want to say that with confidence.
Because he did it in like 3 quarters, basically, didn't he?
I just had to sit there and think about Western Conference. Who's a good scorer that gets no help, and I was like, oh yeah, Dame. And then so
you got one more.
And we got one that's non-recent.
All right. Yeah. So these 3 potential options.
Okay.
2 of them are very old. One of them is like 90s.
Okay.
One of them is 90s. That's the one I'm expecting you to get, but
90s.
There's 3 on the table.
90s. Before we guess the 90s one, did Larry Bird ever score more than 70 points?
Larry Bird did
I
not.
don't think so.
Did not.
I think
That
his
was a
career
different.
high was like 58. I don't know if he ever hit 60.
Yeah, I don't know if he did either.
All right.
Wouldn't have been Clyde Drexler.
No,
Wouldn't have
not
been.
Clyde.
Oh man, why
Is
am
it
I
a Western?
struggling?
Is one of them a Western Conference plays for a red team?
Did not play for a red team. Is Western Conference though.
The 90s
Yeah.
player?
Yeah, the '90s player.
Hmm.
He's got a nickname, famous nickname.
Famous nickname. Oh,
Hmm.
ooh.
If I say it, you're gonna know.
Yeah, well, I don't want you to say the nickname for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Western Conference 90s, big time nickname.
Is it a big or a guard? Can I ask
It's
that?
a
Is that?
big,
It's not Carl Malone, is it?
not Karl Malone, but
No.
that's a good guess.
Oh, is it Chuck?
Not Chuck.
Not
Oh, it's
Charles
not Chuck.
Barkley. It's
Not
not.
Chuck.
It wouldn't be Kevin Garnett because he was 2000s and he didn't
Yeah.
really.
No.
He didn't score like that really.
No. Oh man.
What big
Uh,
am I missing? What is? It's not Olajuwon. He's defensive
No.
mostly.
That was
Man.
that was kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
Heck of an offensive player too, but
And I just
This dude was also a good defensive guy though.
hmm.
It's this guy right here.
is he
And
a
I
Hall of
think-
Famer?
I believe so. Yes. As like, maybe not too recent, but like, I mean,
How am I
maybe like
blanking on
2010
this?
or something.
I thought we were gonna nail the NBA one.
Well, he did pretty
Uh,
good until we
This
stepped
is
out
the
before we were
one,
born.
yeah.
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 This is why I did 5. I knew 4 would be like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
I need a hint that's not a gimme.
Okay,
'Cause I
so
really
he teamed up with this guy that this team drafted in the late 90s to form what was known as the Twin Towers.
I'm so disappointed in myself right now.
I know. Me too. I'm blanking.
It's just like, especially 70 balls. Like nobody scores 70 freaking points in a game. You think you would know them all?
Yeah, and in y'all's defense, this one guy is I think the 70 game was like
Hang
for
on.
him to beat somebody in a scoring.
Oh God! It's right there on the tip of my tongue.
It's
I
not
know
David.
exactly-
It's not David Robinson, right?
Oh, it's David
It
Robinson.
is.
Dang!
It is.
Okay, so
Admiral.
when he did that was that to beat Karl Malone for the scoring title?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
That's what it
I think
was.
so.
I think that's exactly what he's. Yeah, he played the entire game. I'm fairly
How?
Yeah, they just fed him the ball. I think the score for that game, he scored like 70. I want to say it was like 71 or 72. And the score was like 100 to 90 or something.
Oh,
Some of those
So he
vintage
scored.
basketball scores are tough.
everybody was sharing that night then.
Yeah, they just fed him the ball.
Oh yeah. Well, that was a
Dang.
tough
And,
walk to get to 5.
Other 2,
Okay.
just out of curiosity. Is it Elgin Baylor?
Elgin
Elgin Baylor.
Okay. That
And David Thompson.
David Thompson.
you would have had to walk me into
Yeah.
that like a
David
blind
Thompson,
bet.
I had no idea.
Nope.
Elgin made sense, but I had no idea. David Thompson, maybe Clay's dad. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? I know Elgin Baylor was that dude back then, though.
He was the dude back then. That was for the Lakers. All right, we got one more UGA football.
All right, let's fire it up.
We better at least come close
I
on
am
this
so
one.
disappointed in our performance so far that nothing will shock me at this point.
I know.
All right. So, who is the all-time leader for UGA in receiving yards?
In receiving yards.
Is this as much of a layup as I think it is?
Not really. Not really.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go with my first answer, and I'm gonna go.
I mean, go with it, but
Nah, because if it's not a layup, that's not the answer.
It's
it's
not
not like a
AJ.
super obvious.
Yeah,
Not
I
not-
mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking, Skylar. If it was,
Yeah.
a
It's
layup.
not AJ.
Well,
I mean,
AJ was only there 3 years, right?
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. We got to think 4-year guys.
Wouldn't have been
It's a 4-year
Muhammad.
guy.
Wouldn't have been Muhammad Massaquoi, would it?
Not Muhammad Massaquoi. I thought he
TK?
had more numbers, but he actually didn't. What'd you say,
Is
Brody?
it from that same era of teams though?
It's a little earlier. A little
A
earlier.
little earlier. There, it's right there.
What is wrong with us, man?
I'm telling you,
This is so bad.
Yeah, I'm a nephew. Like before I was born, my knowledge is limited. Who is this quarterback? Is that just too much of a
Man,
gimme
give it
there?
away.
Does that give it away?
Yeah. Oh
It
man.
might.
Wouldn't have been
It's
Reggie Brown, right? He's only
not
stayed
Reggie
3
Brown.
years too.
Yeah. Oh, man, I can't even think of guys that stayed 4 years because like nobody
Yeah.
does it.
This is like one of the few guys that did. In fact,
How,
this was the SEC record at the time.
how did his NFL career turn out? This guy's.
SEC record for career receiving yards.
I don't know how it turned out, to be honest. I don't even know if it ever turned out,
Hmm.
to be honest.
So not much in the
That
NFL, if
Yeah, so he's
anything.
not really. Yeah,
Hmm.
peculiar. Oh,
I could be
man.
wrong on that, but pretty sure didn't really have much going on after college.
Dang, man.
Uh,
I think I'm gonna have to
I
wave the
I
white
genuinely have
wave the white flag on
I'll
this
give
one.
y'all. I'll give y'all a quarterback,
Okay.
Okay.
David Green.
I
Okay,
see.
I was gonna guess
That's the
that was the
team I
era.
was thinking, but I can't freaking think of any
I'm
receivers.
blanking on receivers from those teams.
I know.
And then obviously they must not have been stars because they stayed there for 4 years and didn't have a career in the NFL.
Yeah.
Is it it's a wide receiver though? It's not like a tight end or something like that.
No, it's a wide receiver. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a wide receiver.
Why can I remember like every position but wide receiver from those Georgia teams? Like I can think of quarterbacks, running backs,
I
defensive
usually don't think of
players.
wide receivers when I think of Georgia. To be
I even
honest,
That's what I was
even
about to say, Brody.
I know. I know.
And especially because like this is the age where like we would have been like watching the games, but it was really an excuse to hang out with your friends, like when your parents drank on the weekends. So like we were all running around outside playing like manhunt. We weren't watching the game.
That's the
Well, I
truth.
don't. I mean, we. This is a little earlier than the manhunt days, I think.
Yeah, it is, but you get the gist.
Would have been some youngins out there playing
2 years
manhunt.
old.
We were crawling around playing manhunt.
I gotta give up. I got nothing.
Dang.
Chandler, what you got for us?
Terrence Edwards.
Oh, you know what? I knew the name, or I know the name. I don't ever think about Terrence Edwards, but I've definitely heard the name.
Terrence Edwards.
I mean, I know I've heard the name as a Georgia fan. There's no way I haven't, but at the
Dude.
same time, I couldn't
I
tell you anything
Couldn't
about
tell
it.
you when.
I actually watched the video. I think it was from like 02, and probably the best play action of all time. They didn't even find the ball until he was in the end zone.
Oh.
Like it was.
Oh, is this the legendary call? Sorry, I have a fly. Sorry to break that up. I've had a fly flying around in case y'all see the towel here, and it's been really starting to get like in the no-fly zone. And yeah, there he is. He's back. So I've been ducking and dodging that a little bit. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So to really kind of to kind of shift a little bit, Scott, that was a poor trivia performance.
We did horrible. If Chandler was grading us, he'd give us an F for today. Maybe like a
we
D.
tried.
Maybe
like,
a D.
Hell, half the
Yeah.
time we barely tried. Like I just blanked and had nothing. And I was just waiting for somebody to come throw me the dinghy or the life jacket. I mean,
Dude,
I'm
sometimes
gonna be honest. The one I thought y'all would struggle with the most was the one y'all got like the quickest. The Ichiro most hits.
Ichiro.
Like,
Yeah.
I will say, like, I think if you give me like baseball trivia, since I'm old enough to remember starting in like probably like 08, that's probably my best category if I had to go.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everything else, especially like, dude, those any early 90s, like 80s, 70s, I got nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I know the
That's
Ichiro
tough.
one. I know the Ichiro one because MLB The Show's MLB record screen has been burned into my brain for
Exactly.
many
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that one on there for sure.
Yeah. I
Yep.
remember grinding on '06 the show, and I had the screen and I
Oh
had my
yeah.
career going. And I was like, I
Oh
got to
yeah.
beat all these records.
Yeah. But
Well,
Good
for
time.
context, you were playing '06 in what, like 2015?
Yeah. I got a PS4 in 2018. So
Yeah.
I was grinding hard,
So in
Chandler,
those old games.
2017 you were doing MLB '06 still.
yeah,
Literally, yeah. I think I
Yeah.
retired. I finally retired,
you were
like
the
my
first
player.
guy to ever play a full baseball career without simulating.
Dude, I for real did. I think I played like 18 years on the
Holy
That's
on the
absurd.
cow.
game.
That's absurd. That's absurd.
Played for
Dude.
the Braves, Cubs, Blue Jays, and Tigers.
So Dansby Swanson to the Blue Jays and the Tigers post Cubs.
Might fall in the footsteps.
Maybe.
Could be a trendsetter.
Don't know if he
Well,
can live up though.
yeah,
That's a legend right there.
yeah, it'd be tough. Be tough. Chandler, we really appreciate you, man. I think
Oh
you
yeah.
definitely helped carry the trivia segment. If you'd like to, we definitely like to keep you coming back. Keep you coming back for more, and hopefully one day we can impress you a little bit more with our knowledge.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna keep them coming as long as
Oh
y'all
yeah.
want me.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
you keep firing them.
All
We
right,
appreciate it, Chandler.
All right,
I
Chandler.
appreciate it.
Have a good one, brother. Thank you for joining the lunch table.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
see y'all, man.
See you, buddy.
Sir.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and call it a night, guys. I think it's been a great episode 4.
Absolutely.
Got
This
to
was a
talk.
good time.
Yeah, we got to talk a really wide range of topics and sports this week. So I think it's been a really cool episode. Shout out once again to Chandler for joining us for trivia. That was
Chandler,
awesome.
appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. We hope to have him
Like I
back.
said earlier in the show, y'all leave us comments, like anything, like topics you want to discuss. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll
we're
bring you
open.
on. I mean, if you're one, I mean, come get on the pod. Come sit down at the table.
That's it.
You have a computer and you can do a Zoom call. You can be on the pod. So
That's it.
like Skylar said too, if you've made it this long, we need like, comment, subscribe, any kind of little traction. Get the boys out there. Let's get the table as big as possible. Let's everybody come take a seat
That's
and
it.
listen to us spew.
That's it. That's it. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, man, we'll call
That's
it
it, man.
call it a night. We'll go ahead and move on, and I'll see you guys next week, Brody.
We'll see
We'll
y'all
talk
next week.
Thank y'all
Skylar,
for
it's been
sitting
a
at
good
the
one,
lunch
brother.
table.
Appreciate it. Y'all have